You know that feeling. That deep, gut-wrenching, stomach-twisting certainty that someone is stealing from you. It's not just the money. It's the sheer audacity of it. I'd been noticing it for weeks. My electric bill, a steady, predictable tide, had suddenly swelled into a raging flood. I saw the numbers and my heart sank. This wasn't a mistake. This was a heist. It was a slow, silent, methodical plunder of my resources. And the culprit, my self-appointed HOA president, Karen, her pristine white Tesla, a monument to her carefully curated superiority, was always plugged in at her house. But something felt off. I'd see her sometimes. A fleeting glance. The smug little smirk she wore as she'd unplug her car and strut inside. Oblivious to the world. But I wasn't oblivious. I was watching. And I was about to serve up a dish of cold, hard truth. A revenge dish. Spiced with a little bit of electricity. Was it petty? Oh, absolutely. But was it glorious? You'd better believe it. The first step was to confirm my suspicions. To move past the feeling and into the realm of undeniable fact. It was a Tuesday afternoon, and Karen was at her weekly yoga class. The street was quiet, save for the hum of a distant lawnmower. I walked over to the edge of my property, a cool breeze rustling the leaves. I had installed a smart meter a few months back, a little gadget of my own design that monitored a specific circuit in my home. A quiet circuit, a circuit that should have been pulling zero power. But there it was. A low, steady draw. 1, 2 kilowatts. What the hell? I traced the line. A long, black cable snaking discreetly through the bushes that separated our properties. My blood ran cold. A slow, icy burn. The cable disappeared into a tangle of ivy on her side of the fence, where it fed directly into a splitter that was attached to her Tesla charger. The sheer brazenness of it made me gasp. A sharp, choked sound. She wasn't just siphoning. She was doing it in plain sight, hidden by a few cheap plants and the certainty that no one would dare question her. The sight of it, the simple, ugly reality of her thievery, was like a physical punch. She was a leech, a parasitic force on my property, and she was doing it without a single shred of shame. I could almost hear her haughty little voice in my head. Oh, darling, it's just a few cents. You won't even notice. But I did notice. And now, armed with a newfound clarity and a burning sense of righteous indignation, I knew what I had to do. I didn't want to just cut her off. I wanted to make a statement. A statement that would singe her ego and her wallet. My counteroffensive was planned with surgical precision. It involved a little gadget, a relic from my days as an electrical engineer, that could send a controlled, non-lethal surge down a line. It wasn't about damaging her car. It was about destroying her means of theft. The charger itself. I waited until dusk. The sky a deep indigo streaked with orange, and the streetlights casting long shadows. My wife, bless her heart, was inside, blissfully unaware of the clandestine operation happening just outside our window. I slid out, a small black box in my hand, and crouched low by the hedge. The splitter was right there. I disconnected her charging cable from the splitter. A satisfying click. And then I hooked up my little gadget. I felt a pang of nervousness. A quick flutter in my chest. Was this too much? Was I going too far? Then I remembered my electric bill. The countless dollars she had siphoned from me. The self-satisfied look on her face. And the flutter turned into a firm resolve. I flicked the switch on the box. A low, almost imperceptible hum filled the air. A tiny metallic crackle. Then, a sickening pop, followed by a faint electrical fizzle. I saw a quick, bright flash from inside the charger's housing. The smell hit me then. The acrid, metallic stench of burnt plastic and ozone. It was the smell of victory. I quickly disconnected my device, reconnected her cable to the splitter, and vanished back inside, my heart pounding a steady, triumphant rhythm. The deed was done. The next day, the explosion happened. Not a literal one, but a social one. I was watering my lawn when I heard her. A shrill, piercing shriek that could curdle milk. My charger is ruined. I saw her, A blur of expensive athleisure and pure, unadulterated rage, standing over the smoldering carcass of her Tesla Charger. My neighbor, Tim, came out, his face a question mark. What happened? Karen, he asked, his voice laced with concern. Karen's head snapped up. Her eyes, usually placid and blue, were now like chips of ice, burning with accusation. Someone sabotaged my Charger. My brand new, expensive Charger. It's a crime, she screeched, her voice cracking. A crime, I tell you. And then her eyes landed on me. She pointed, a perfectly manicured finger trembling. It was him. I know it. He's always been jealous of my success. She wailed, her voice rising to a crescendo. I stood there, calm as a lake, a little smile playing on my lips. Jealous? Karen. Of what? Your impeccable timing in stealing my electricity, I said, my voice low and dangerous. The air grew thick with tension. The moment was ripe, and I was ready. The confrontation was at the next HOA meeting. The small community room felt like a courtroom, and I was the prosecutor. Karen was there, her face a mask of wounded innocence. Her husband, a meek, nervous man, by her side. She had already tried to paint me as a deranged saboteur, but I had my evidence. I presented the data from my smart meter, a neat chart showing the exact times and amounts of the power draw. As you can see, I said, my voice steady. For weeks, power was being drawn from my home on a circuit that should have been inactive. The power draw was consistent. 2 kilowatts, starting every morning around 8 a.m. And ending around 4 p.m. Funny. That's when Karen is at her yoga classes, isn't it? A few gasps rippled through the room. And then, I continued. I have this. I held up a printout of a grainy security camera photo from my neighbor's house. A picture I had discreetly acquired. It showed a black cable snaking from my bushes to Karen's driveway. A damning, irrefutable image. The evidence, Karen, is crystal clear. You stole from me. You stole from your neighbor. You stole from this community. Her face crumpled, the carefully constructed facade cracking under the weight of the truth. Her husband stared at her, his jaw slack. The whispers started then, a low, angry murmur that grew into a wave of indignation. She's always been like this, someone said, thinking she's above the rules. Karen's face was white, her composure gone. She tried to stammer a defense, something about a mistake, a misunderstanding, but the words died in her throat. She was finished. The aftermath was a quiet kind of justice. Karen was forced to step down as HOA president, her reputation in tatters. The community, once cowed by her domineering personality, now saw her for what she was, a petty thief with a gilded cage. The stolen money was paid back, with a little extra for my troubles. The Charger was, of course, a lost cause. But the real victory wasn't the money or the title. It was the peace of mind, the ability to look at my electric bill without a knot of suspicion in my stomach. The sight of my neighbors, finally free from her tyranny, was a beautiful thing. It was a victory not just for me, but for the quiet, decent people who had been walked on for too long. But as I sit here now, a month later, with the sun setting and the birds chirping, a question still lingers in my mind. Was my act a justifiable response? Did I have the right to take matters into my own hands, to administer my own brand of justice? Or did I simply sink to her level, trading one wrong for another? I don't know the answer, and perhaps there isn't one. What do you all think? Was it right for me to fry her Charger? Or did I cross a line? 2.